11th hour rejection. Teachers and the district can't come to an agreement. A Friday night deal shot down. What was inside that educators didn't like.
And we're tracking what looks to be a really nice start to the weekend. Pretty warm today. We'll let you know what our rain chances look like.
Killer on the loose. Colorado Springs police need your help finding suspects involved in a deadly shooting. And can't catch a break. Hawaii hit with another massive earthquake as the Kilauea volcano continues to erupt. We're tracking the devastating damage.
You're watching KRDO News Channel 13, where the news comes first. Your news starts right now.
Our top story this morning.
It's a real confusing thing, and it sucks to be in the middle of it, you know.
Pueblo D60's last-ditch effort to avoid a teacher strike immediately rejected, and what it means moving forward. Good morning, Colorado. It's 8 a.m. on your Saturday, May 5th. I'm Danny Freed. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. We do start with that new offer from D60. It offered a 2% one-time stipend for teachers, which amounts to about $1,000. It included the 2% cost of living increase, but not until next school year, and it increases the district's health care contribution by $50 a month. Not 30 as they originally said on Thursday, but teachers were quick to reject this offer. They're looking for the 2% COLA increase, 2.5 for paraprofessionals, and they want it to be retroactive to the start of this current school year. Now, in the meantime, students walked out of class Friday not knowing when they may go back. Here's KRDO News Channel 13's Colleen Sikora with a 360 view of the strike.
Students headed home Friday afternoon from Heroes Academy. Parents and relatives here to pick them up, backing the teacher strike.
I completely support them. You know, the kids are supposed to be our future, but they don't want to support the teachers who teach our kids.
I think the teachers deserve a 2% increase. I do. I think they work very hard.
Students in the district having mixed emotions.
It's a real confusing thing, and it sucks to be in the middle of it, you know.
I don't really think the students really care about it as much because they don't see what is really going on.
The Pueblo Education Association preparing for the strike Monday.
We would prefer that it only last a few days. We would prefer it only last one day. But we need to get this done and we need to move forward.
The district said officially all schools in the district will be closed Monday, only providing free lunches at select locations. D60 School Board President Barbara Clementi said another offer put to the union, but it was rejected.
The offer that we gave this evening was all we have.
Clementi says the offer has not been withdrawn, calling the strike set for Monday a crisis.
We are sorry. We are disappointed that we have not been able to resolve this dispute with our most important employees.
Parents and relatives of D60 students figuring out what to do with their kids starting Monday.
I hope a deal is struck soon, but I mean, if it's not and the teachers aren't getting what they're asking for, then I fully support it going on as long as it needs to.
Yeah, children are definitely not learning when they're out of school. And with it being at the end of the school year, that's really going to put a damper on the students' learning.
As the pickup line turns to a picket line. In Pueblo, Colleen Sikora, KRDO News Channel 13.
Again, the Pueblo Education Association has now rejected 2 deals offered by D60, and the time is ticking with just 2 days before Monday's strike. Well, to put this all into perspective for you, we do have some numbers here. There are nearly 17,000 students in the district in 35 schools, and there are 993 teachers. So in total, that's almost 18,000 people who will be out of class. Well, we'll, of course, keep an eye on any breakthroughs throughout the weekend, but regardless, we'll be back out with team coverage beginning at 4:30 on Monday morning. Make sure you're on top of any new information, too. Download our KRDO app and be the first to know. All right, guys, we'll turn to our weather now, taking a live look at Lamar from our Viera Wireless Neighborhood Weather Network camera. Beautiful shot here Marty has pulled up for us, and of course we can see the skies looking blue and so gorgeous this morning. I know that we've been kind of waiting for a great day, and it's been finding us on the weekends, so really can't complain here. Let's go ahead and get a check on that weather with Storm Tracker 13's Marty Vinichinkwe. Good morning, Marty.
Good morning, Danny, and good morning, everyone. And we do have a few clouds approaching from the north and west, seen here on Skyscan. There's no precipitation associated with them, but we've noticed them in some of our camera shots around Colorado Springs. It's been a little cool this morning. We'll have some afternoon clouds and a light breeze today, but the other thing we'll have is some pretty warm air in place. And so it does look like a nice day, as Danny mentioned. Also noticing a lot of greenery on the trees. We saw that in the shot from Lamar. We're also seeing it as viewed from the Pueblo Chieftain studio, looking out across the Steel City. Good visibility back towards the wet mountains. We're close to 60 now in town. Over the Pikes Peak region, a little bit more cloud cover starting to spill over the mountains here in the last hour or so. We have 40s in Teller County. We're generally in the 50s around Colorado Springs, and we'll end up in the 50s and 60s here through 9 o'clock. Should hit the 60s and 70s at lunchtime, and then probably wrap up the day in the 70s to near 80. Chances for rain look pretty slim today, but we couldn't rule out a couple of sprinkles. We'll talk more about where that might occur coming up in our neighborhood weather forecast in just a bit. Danny, back to you.
Okay, Marty, thank you so much. In our Crime Tracker report this morning, Colorado Springs police are still looking for suspects in a deadly shooting that happened at the Regal Estate Apartments. That's just off South Academy. The call came in just after 9 o'clock on Thursday night. When police arrived, they found one man dead in one of those units. Now, investigators could be seen going in and out of the complex, many of them collecting statements from neighbors. Preston Prince lives in the same building where the shooting may have happened. He says neighbors believe they know exactly where this happened.
From what I'm hearing, it was on the 3rd floor and apparently out in the hallway. So, yeah.
So maybe not in a particular unit.
Correct, yeah. But I am not sure on that. That's just what I heard from another person who was down here walking his dog. He lives on the 3rd floor of the next building. He says he saw inside.
And as we mentioned, police are still looking for those suspects. If you have any information, you are asked to give them a call. In the meantime, we now know the name of the man killed in a deadly street racing crash on Wednesday night. According to family members who reached out to us, he was Cole DeVries of Colorado Springs. Witnesses say he was racing another car along South Academy when a truck turned in front of the pair. DeVries died at the scene. Police are still looking to question the other racer who sped off after that crash. Well, Mother Nature continues wreaking havoc on Hawaii.
It is a difficult thing to watch.
Coming up, the latest look at the devastating damage, plus the deadly warning now being issued.
And right now, temperatures are in the 50s to lower 60s already in eastern Colorado. We still have some 30s and 40s up high, but we're in for a real warm day today. We'll have the neighborhood weather forecast coming up after the break.
All right, welcome back to Good Morning Colorado, guys. Taking a look right now at Woodland Park from our Peak Internet Neighborhood Weather Network camera. Obviously, we've been talking about the blue skies that we're seeing today, which is beautiful. Of course, on Thursday, a few areas, including Woodland Park, here saw plenty of precipitation, including snow. Trust me, I was covering it. It was a little chilly, but definitely making for some awesome greenery. Check that out, guys. We're finally seeing some green popping out, making for some springtime views. Love it. Time now is 8:09. Let's get a check on the weather with Storm Tracker 13's Marty Vinicique. Should be a great day.
I think we're in for a real nice start to the weekend. You mentioned the greenery. We're also noticing the flowering trees starting to get going here. And look on the right there, and you can see it overhead door near Powers and Galley. Yeah, things are starting to green up definitely across the area. It just takes a little bit of water. It's amazing how that happens around here. Skycast shows throughout the day. We'll have an increase in the clouds here along and west of the interstate. By late in the day, there are even some suggestions there might be a few sprinkles that pop up over the mountains, but the air underneath is very, very dry today, so we're not expecting any significant precipitation. I think the bigger story today is how nice and warm we're going to be with highs in the 70s and 80s in much of eastern Colorado, probably 50s and 60s over the mountain areas. Big Valley should be in the 70s. And we'll have a bit of a breeze this afternoon, maybe on the order of 10 to 15 miles an hour, but all things considered, we don't think the wind's going to be terribly strong. So if you plan to take you out and about in the Springs today, expect low to mid 70s this afternoon, mainly 60s in Teller County. Get up into Cripple Creek, could stay in the 50s today. We'll have 70s on the higher terrain to the south and west of Pueblo, about 70 on the nose in Westcliff. From Pueblo eastward, though, I do think we'll manage to reach the 80s. And the farther east you go today, I think the higher into the 80s you'll be, so probably mid 80s over the far eastern plains. Any of these sprinkles that are out across the mountains this evening will quickly fall apart as the sun goes down and we lose the heat. And then overnight tonight, we'll probably end up mostly clear. We don't expect a lot of wind. We probably end up pretty mild. When you wake up tomorrow morning, temperatures should be in the 40s across eastern Colorado, mainly 30s over the mountains and mountain valleys. So cool night, but certainly not bad for this time of year. There's a view from Monument right now, looking back towards the south. Also saw a few snowflakes up in the Monument area earlier this week. I'll be out in the backyard today, wondering about opening up my swimming pool in the next couple of weeks, which is kind of typical around here. We'll be tracking some weak cold fronts the next few days. They might bring us some spotty showers and thunderstorms, but all things considered, we're in for a pretty warm week, and we'll have more on that in our extended forecast coming up here shortly.
Are we all invited?
Of course.
To your pool?
Of course, we used to bring the football team over, and our team mom, Miss Tabby, always used to say, "Party at Marty's, the annual party at Marty's."
Party at Marty's. Okay, well, you guys got the official invitation here first, so looks like we're all partying and partying.
First, I need a couple of weeks.
Okay, we'll give you a couple of weeks, but you're the one who determines that, so you let us know on the weather front, right? All right, thanks, Marty. Well, Iowa lawmakers passed the nation's most restrictive ban on abortions, but not everyone is in favor of the legislation, and they're vowing a courtroom battle. Plus, the Kilauea volcano continues its destruction across Hawaii, and there's not much residents can do about it.
Nothing you can do but just smile and have a beer at the end of the day.
Why officials say allowing people back in their homes could take weeks. Turning to some headlines from across the nation now, lava continues to pour out of Hawaii's Kilauea volcano as the strongest earthquake in 40 years struck on Friday.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
A 6.9 earthquake rocked Hawaii's Big Island following a series of quakes that initially set off the volcano. Dangerous levels of sulfur dioxide prompting a warning from officials who say exposure to the gas poses an immediate threat to life. Now, so far, 6 lava eruptions have been reported and 2 homes have been destroyed.
Basically heartbreak, you know. It's my wife and I have been married going on 26 years. It was pretty much our dream home that we've been looking for all this time, and just knowing that we're not going to have a house, the lava might take it. My wife is still in tears, you know.
Now, nearly 2,000 people have been forced from their homes. Officials do say they have no idea when the eruptions might stop or when evacuees might be able to return home, saying it could be weeks. Well, in Iowa, the governor has signed the nation's most restrictive abortion ban. Kim Reynolds signed the bill that bans abortions after a fetal heartbeat is detected, which in many cases can happen as early as 6 weeks into a pregnancy. Now, the bill includes exceptions for incest, rape, and threats to the mother's health. The measure also says women can't be prosecuted for receiving abortions, but it does not address doctors who perform them. Supporters of the bill are calling it a tremendous win for the state of Iowa.
It was a great night. I mean, it's always refreshing when you see Republicans step up and vote and act like Republicans.
Now, those who oppose the bill say the 6-week abortion ban is an assault on women's rights.
It is not in protecting women. It is not in protecting Iowans. It is wasting a lot of time and resources on something that they know is unconstitutional and that will be struck down.
The regional Planned Parenthood said it intends to challenge the bill in court, which Governor Reynolds said she expected. Well, new this morning, a new report is raising questions about what and when President Trump knew about the 6-figure payout made by his personal attorney to adult film actress Stormy Daniels. The New York Times, citing 2 people familiar with the arrangement, reporting the president did know about the payout several months before he denied having any knowledge of it. According to the Times, it's not clear exactly when the president learned of the payment, however. And in our North Korea watch this morning, in a bold announcement from the White House, it appears the historic summit between President Trump and Kim Jong-un has been set.
We now have a date and we have a location. We'll be announcing it soon.
Now, no further details yet, but the president has said recently he favors the DMZ as a location. Earlier, while addressing the annual gathering of the NRA members in Dallas, the president touted his tough approach to North Korea and Iran, saying so far things have worked out pretty good.
We're going to end up with temperatures coming in well above seasonal averages today. Those, by the way, are 66 and 74 for Colorado Springs and Pueblo, respectively, and this is going to be a trend, which we'll talk about more in our extended forecast coming up after the break.
Coming up in sports, well, the Rockies do it again on the road last night. Plus, there's a reason why this young man got a water bath after his high school baseball game. We'll explain.
Welcome back, Colorado. Taking a live look right now at La Vida from our Viera Wireless Neighborhood Weather Network camera. Beautiful shot here, obviously. Blue skies, we're talking about it all morning. But take a look really closely here, guys. If you really just kind of look closely at the camera, you can see it kind of jiggling around a little bit. So it looks like it might be a little breezy in La Vida. Obviously nothing that's freaking our cameras out too much, so we shouldn't be too bad there in the area, but just something to maybe cool you off today, as it might be a little bit warm. But keep that sunscreen on hand too. The sun should be beautiful. Let's get more of a check on that weather with Storm Tracker 13's Marty Vinichinkwe. What else you got, Marty?
Well, we have some clouds starting to roll into the Pikes Peak region. There's a view looking out towards Pikes Peak from the Greater Woodland Park Chamber of Commerce and Visitor Center. This is thin stuff right now, but it is filtering the sun just a little bit. Temperatures in Teller County are in the 40s to near 50. We should be well into the 60s, not just today, but probably for the remainder of the week. We do look to have better chances for isolated showers and thunderstorms tomorrow into Monday. I think tomorrow probably is going to bring us our best coverage of storms, but they'll still be pretty hit and miss, so we can't promise you're going to get rain. Tuesday through Thursday could be a few sprinkles, but it looks like it'll be pretty dry for the most part. The next little cold front arrives on Friday. That too could ramp up our chances for still spotty showers and thunderstorms. Canyon City, I think maybe a 10% coverage on the showers and storms tomorrow and Monday. Otherwise, the bottom line is that warm temperatures, upper 70s to mid 80s, should carry us right on through the end of the work week, at which point another weak front might arrive and kick off at least some very isolated showers and thunderstorms, but I don't think we're in for the widespread heavier precipitation like we had last week. Beautiful view as seen over Pueblo from our Viera wireless neighborhood weather network camera. You see some of those high clouds coming in from the north and west, and a little later on today I think you'll see more of those as well. Weak cold front could kick off some isolated showers or thunderstorms for you in the Pueblo area tomorrow or Monday as well, but we're only talking the 10% coverage, so again, more of you are going to stay dry than not. Then we're in the mid to upper 80s perhaps Tuesday through Thursday, with another rumble of thunder maybe about Friday or so. In Colorado Springs, I think we'll be in the mid 70s today. Might cool just a little bit tomorrow into Monday as that next front comes in. That also ramps up our chances for at least some scattered showers and thunderstorms. But I'm obviously not real excited with 20% coverages. I also think we could wake up to some low clouds, maybe some patchy fog Monday morning. So the first part of the day Monday looks to be kind of cool. We'll clear that out in the afternoon. And then Tuesday through Thursday look mostly dry, mid to upper 70s. Wouldn't be shocked to hit 80 maybe on Thursday. A little cooler at the end of the week. But the fronts look a lot less dramatic than we've seen obviously over the last few weeks when you know we're like, oh, 70 this day, 40 this day, snow here. Anyway, we're not going to do a lot of that, it looks like, this week.
Sure, okay, so no typical Colorado roller coaster, at least as far as we know.
Now we're kind of settling into spring here.
Okay, good. I'm really okay with that at this point. All right, Marty, well, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Well, the Rockies offense, of course, is known for being dominant at home and a little stagnant on the road, but things appeared to be changing. Here's sports director Rob Namnoom to explain.
Good morning, everybody. Well, who are these guys? For years, the Rocks have been rocky on the road, but that's not the case this year. In fact, nobody has more wins on the road this season than Colorado. Boy, Kenny Rogers really letting his hair grow out these days. Rockies put up a 5 spot in the first. Fear the Beard. Charlie Blackmon spanks his 11th home run of the year. The Rockies, they would hang on. Wade Davis finally able to hold off the Mets. They win 8-7. It's their 13th victory on the road. The Pikes Peak League up for grabs yesterday in high school baseball. Cheyenne Mountain and Palmer Ridge. Bottom of the third. Bears get on the board. Gabe Rogers finds a hole. J.D. Dyer would score. Few hitters later, Gabe Hallaby crushes one to left center, hits the fence, and Palmer Ridge would go up 3-0, move to the 6th. Cheyenne making it interesting. Chase McCleary drops one in the outfield. Adam Jackson would score. All of a sudden, it's a 4-3 affair. Top of 7. Last shot for Cheyenne. Bridger Havens induces the ground ball for the final out of the game. Palmer Ridge wins a tight one, 4-3, as they claim the Pikes Peak championship.
Feels great. I mean, it's our first conference championship since like 2011, I think. You know, we're just working together as a team. Feels awesome.
I think just taking it one game at a time.
How was that ice bath?
It was pretty cold.
10 student athletes from Discovery Canyon signed their national letters of intent yesterday. Nick Rothschild was there for the celebration.
After traveling the long road of competition and recruiting, today was a chance for joy.
I'm super excited to go. I can't wait. So only a couple more days until school ends, and then after summer track and everything, we get to start college track. So I'm so excited.
Lauren Gale, one of the most decorated track athletes in Thunder history, is on to CSU. Another DC runner will be doing the same at Arizona State.
I'm excited to compete with a lot of good runners, and hopefully by senior year I'll be putting up some good times.
Caleb Grotelushin couldn't pick one sport, so he'll be playing both football and baseball at Wheaton College.
So I've always loved football and baseball, and I just knew that making a decision on one would be hard. I know college will be a step up, but I think my parents and my coaches have prepared me for it.
These young men and women all seem well prepared for the next level. In Colorado Springs, Nick Rothschild, KRDO News Channel 13 Sports.
Thank you for that, Nick. That's a look at sports.
Well, it's official. We have another member of the 3,000 hit club in Major League Baseball. In the top of the 5th inning against the Seattle Mariners, Albert Pujols of the LA Angels singled to right for his 3,000th career hit. Pujols is the 32nd player to reach this milestone. And to add to it, Pujols added a 2 RBI single in the top of the 9th for hit number 3001. As the Angels blank the Mariners 5-0. The Los Angeles Dodgers and San Diego Padres, the Rockies division rivals, are in Mexico for a 3-day series this weekend, and the Padres are probably ready to come back to the States. That's because 4 Dodgers pitchers threw a combined no-hitter against the Friars. So, if you're keeping score at home, that's Pujols 2 hits, the entire Padres team a big goose egg. Well, I-25 in Rock Rimmon is a stretch of road that is causing headaches and raising questions for some drivers.
Every time we go over it, it just seems like it's getting worse.
We'll have the answer to why can't we fix that coming up. And here's a live look right now at I-25 in North Academy. No headaches to report along this stretch of interstate. Looking really nice, though, as our day looks pretty great ahead, too. Time now is 8:27.
You're watching KRDO News Channel 13, where the news comes first. Your news starts right now.
Good morning, Colorado. Just turning 8:30 on your Saturday, May 5th. Happy Cinco de Mayo, or if you're going to be watching the Derby later, whatever you're doing, happy whatever. It's Saturday. That's fantastic. I'm Danny Free. Thank you so much for joining us. Well, our big story this morning, D60 teachers rejecting a second offer from the district, which means come Monday, they will strike. The offer included a 2% one-time stipend for teachers, which amounts to about $1,000. Now, it included the 2% cost of living increase, but not until next school year. And it increases the district's health care contribution by $50 a month, not $30 as proposed on Thursday. But teachers were quick to reject this offer. They're looking for the 2% COLA increase, 2.5 for paraprofessionals, and they want it to be retroactive to the start of this current school year. Now, we want to put the strike into perspective for you a bit by taking a look at other teacher strikes that have happened across the United States. The strike in Arizona, which just concluded earlier this week, lasted 6 days. The strike in West Virginia and Oklahoma both lasted 9. And the strike in Kentucky was the shortest of them all, lasting just 1 day. And of course, it's unclear at this point how long this strike will last, but Suzanne Etheridge, the union president, says teachers are ready to strike for as long as it takes.
This is about ultimately improving our system and making sure we have a highly qualified teacher in front of each of our students.
And the union says it's likely that some schools may have to do makeup days, which means it could require extending school into the summer. In the meantime, a Pueblo church will pitch in with childcare Monday for those affected by this strike. The First Presbyterian Church is offering low-cost care on a first-come, first-served basis. It's for kindergarten through 8th graders from 7:30 to 3:30. The district will also be offering free lunches to kids who need it from 11:30 to 12:30 starting on Monday. And lunches will be available at Minnequa, Morton, Belmont, Baca, and Beulah Heights elementary schools. And we'll keep an eye on any breakthroughs, of course, throughout the weekend, and we'll be back out on Monday with team coverage beginning at 4:30 in the morning. If anything breaks in the meantime, though, be sure to download our KRDO app. You'll be the first to know. All right, turning to the weather now, taking a live look outside at La Junta for you from our Viera Wireless Neighborhood Weather Network camera. We've been talking about the green that we've been seeing now that we've been getting some of that moisture, making it nice, especially for our fire season that is impending. But definitely a gorgeous shot here, hopefully indicative of what we're going to be seeing for the rest of the day. Let's get a check on the weather with Storm Tracker 13's Marty Vinicincque. Good morning, Marty.
Good morning, Danny. Good morning, everyone. If you're just joining us, it's been a little bit cool this morning, but the temperatures are starting to climb now that the sun has risen, and we have some clouds approaching from the west, starting to see those around the Pikes Peak region. And I think we're going to be in a pattern now of warm afternoons and cool mornings for a little while. We'll have some clouds around this afternoon. We should keep the breeze pretty light today. Won't be absent entirely, but 10 to 15 miles an hour shouldn't be too bad. And the precipitation this past week, obviously, as Danny kind of mentioned, helped us out with some of the fire danger, at least in the short term, and it's nice to see things greening up. We're in the 50s and lower 60s right now along the Arkansas River from Pueblo westward through Canyon City, and we're closing in on 60 across some neighborhoods in Colorado Springs as well. But again, you can see some of the high, thin clouds that are now obscuring the sun a little bit as viewed from right here at the KRDO studios. courtesy of our friends at Hubert or Subaru. Looks like we'll end up with 50s and 60s here for the next half hour or so. We'll jump up into the 60s and 70s at lunchtime, hit the 70s to near 80 this afternoon. So nice warm afternoon expected. Slight chance for a few sprinkles. We'll talk more about where that might occur coming up in our neighborhood weather forecast here in just a bit. Danny, back to you.
Okay, Marty, thanks. Well, one of the busier intersections in Colorado Springs is now shut down for a construction project. And if you rely on the route, you may be upset when you hear how long it will stay that way. The intersection at Pikes Peak and Union closed at 8 o'clock last night. Some 40,000 cars go through there each day. Now, this is actually for crews to install new water, gas, and sewer lines. The project manager explains how the closure will affect drivers and business owners.
We're going to be putting up a directory of all of the businesses that are in that area. They will all continue to have access. They will continue to be open during construction. Memorial Park is going to be open during construction. It's just the intersection itself.
Now, this project will cost about $17 million and will also improve the road surface. And to answer that question you've been waiting for, the intersection won't be back to normal until August 2019. Now to another stretch of road that has people talking, I-25 and Rockrimmon. If you've driven that stretch of road lately, I'm sure you've noticed your ride is literally rocking and not in a good way. 100,000 of you drive it every day. Soil is actually settling and causing waves along the interstate. One of our viewers alerted us to one section that's especially bad. She asked, why can't we fix that? Here's KRDO News Channel 13 anchor Heather Skold with the answer.
There's a jolt at I-25 and Rockrimmon. Make that several. Bump after bump after bump. Rattle this whole section of 11 problem bridges.
Oh my gosh.
And Teresa Smith,
it was like, ooh,
doesn't like it.
Every time we go over it, it just seems like it's getting worse.
There's one that's really bad. This one on the northbound exit. It's sideways. One tire hits first and sends you sailing. Yeah, there's a yellow sign stating the obvious, but you get there and, the jostling sure gets your attention.
It would flip our car. The bridge in Florida collapsed. I'd hate to see something like Florida happen here.
So we made a few calls. Turns out, it's been settling since it was built a dozen years ago.
When you're driving along I-25 and approaching Rockrimmon, it's hard not to notice the difference. You'll look at these cars here and you can see how much they bounce along the road. In some spots, as they approach the bridges, it's maybe 8, sometimes 10 inches of a difference.
CDOT's well aware, but year after year, the settling's gotten worse. There have been bigger, higher priority projects before Rockrimmon. Lead engineer Dave Watt says CDOT's tried several fix-its throughout the years, but they haven't worked.
We've had settlement with some of the deeper foundations. You've also got a settlement where you've got embankment coming up to a very rigid structure, the bridges.
But engineers are confident the settling is finished on the 11 problem bridges.
This marks the fill of 200, so it's basically going to stay at the same grade, 2/100ths of a foot.
First, they have to fill in some areas, smooth out others.
Where we can now do this asphalt work, seal up the decks, and provide that smooth surface that we're all anxious to have.
Eventually taking out this bump sign and the bumps that go along with it.
And that was Heather Skold reporting. CDOT project managers hope to have it finished by December. We'll continue to follow it. But in the meantime, we do want to know if there is something that you think we need to fix. So you can send us an email to fixthat@krdo.com. Marty?
Well, we don't have a lot going on in the weather department. Pretty quiet weather it looks like today, but if you have some problems with the sniffles and sneezes, you probably can blame the trees or the grasses right now because they're pretty active, not surprisingly at this time of year. We'll have the neighborhood weather forecast coming up right after the break.
Welcome back to Good Morning Colorado. Taking another look right now at Pueblo from our Viera Wireless Neighborhood Weather Network camera. Seeing some of those clouds kind of moving in, but nothing to worry about really today. It should be a really nice day to get out. Don't forget that sunscreen though, and like Marty was just saying too, that pollen count, those trees kind of might be bothering you if you're an allergy sufferer, so make sure you keep that in mind. Time now is 8:40. Let's go ahead and get to Marty with more on your forecast.
And good morning, everyone. Danny mentioned some of the clouds coming in. They're a little thicker around the Pikes Peak region now. It was nice and sunny when we hit air at 6 o'clock this morning. Obviously, the clouds are, well, obscuring the sun a little bit as seen there from underwater connection. But that hasn't stopped the temperature from rising. We're close to 60 degrees now in town. And Skycast shows the clouds building, especially across the mountains here during the afternoon. And you see a few little green blips here and there. It's an indication that the model thinks there might even be a few sprinkles. But the air underneath is really very dry today, so we wouldn't expect any significant rainfall. And for most of you, it's not going to be much to concern yourselves with. We'll end up warm with 70s and 80s across much of eastern Colorado. 50s and 60s should do it for the high country. Big Valley should be in the 70s, and I think we'll be in the 70s in Colorado Springs today, even with some clouds around, mainly 60s in Teller County. We can't promise there won't be any wind today, but 10 to 15 miles an hour, probably about it. So all things considered, the wind shouldn't be much of a factor today. We'll have 70s on the higher terrain south and west of Pueblo. From Pueblo about eastward, we'll end up around or into the 80s. And in fact, the far eastern plains should end up in the mid-80s today. You two look to stay dry and maybe just a little bit breezy during the afternoon. If we have some sprinkles this evening, they'll quickly fall apart as the sun gets low in the sky and we lose the heating of the day. And then overnight tonight, generally clear. The air overhead looks very warm, but we're still dry enough that we'll cool some. We'll end up in the 40s, I think, tomorrow morning in much of eastern Colorado with 30s over the mountains. So a little bit of a crisp start to the day on Sunday. But like today, I think tomorrow's going to be nice and warm as well. There's a view back towards Pikes Peak from Abba Eye Care, looking past Penrose. And you can see, obviously, the clouds that have been mentioned out there. They're not real thick, but just enough to drown out the sun a little bit. Over the next few days, we'll have some weak cold fronts in the area, but unlike the cold fronts over the last several weeks, they're not going to result in a huge change in temperature. So we'll stay pretty warm, but we will have some opportunities for some spotty showers and thunderstorms on occasion. We'll have more on that in the 7-day forecast coming up here shortly.
Yeah, and if you missed out on some of that yard work because of the snow that you may have seen on Thursday, today might be a good day. I know you're probably going to do it today, right?
Yeah, well, I got out and started that process yesterday. I'm going to continue that process today, and hopefully by tomorrow I can kind of put that to rest and move on.
Yeah, getting ahead of yourself. I love
Trying
it.
to.
Yeah, you're good pre-planner. I love that. All right, Marty, well, thank you.
Thank you.
Well, a big boost coming to Fort Carson. The announcement made by Congressman Lamborn live on our air will tell you what it is coming up. Plus, President Trump reassuring gun owners that their rights are safe amid a contentious debate about gun control. Welcome back to Good Morning Colorado. Okay, guys, I told you this last hour if you guys watched. Oh, it stopped. Well, Alamosa was panning a little bit, and it was last hour, too. Kind of interesting. Marty wasn't even touching it, but interesting shot here where we landed anyway. Really beautiful shot of the sky, and there we go again, taking off. Yeah, it does. Marty says it has a mind of its own. It's kind of doing its own thing this morning. But regardless, showing you a beautiful view here of Alamosa from our Viero Wireless Neighborhood Weather Network camera that seems to be possessed this morning. Time now is 8:45. Well, President Trump is reassuring gun owners that their gun rights are safe. The president speaking to the sold-out crowd of gun enthusiasts at the NRA convention in Dallas amid the national conversation on gun control. The president alarmed some conservatives earlier this year with comments he made in the wake of the Parkland school shooting. President Trump suggested taking guns away from dangerous individuals without due process, but changed course after meeting with NRA leaders.
Your Second Amendment rights are under siege, but they will never, ever be under siege as long as I'm your president.
The president's words coming as family and friends of the Parkland victims continue to try and move forward.
Every day is a struggle. It hasn't gotten any easier in 3 months, and I don't expect it for the rest of my life.
Now, Andrew Pollock's daughter, Meadow, was killed in that shooting. He's filed a wrongful death lawsuit against the shooter, the school resource officer who didn't confront the shooter, and several mental health institutes. Now he's working to ensure a tragedy like this doesn't happen again. Meadow would have been going to prom tonight. Instead, the night will be dedicated to her and the other seniors who were killed. A video tribute and moment of silence are both planned. Well, back here in Colorado, a big announcement from Congressman Doug Lamborn made live on our air. Lamborn said Fort Carson will get about $60 million more than expected for new construction projects. It's part of the 2018 National Defense Authorization Act. Lamborn says the final bill totals about $103 million for Fort Carson. He says the bulk of the money will go to converting the Army's Infantry Combat Brigade to an Armored Combat Brigade.
And this includes $77 million for Army vehicle repair, which is exactly what you need to handle an extra armored brigade combat team.
Now, the Air Force Academy is also due to get an influx of cash for its CyberWorks program. It includes a 33,000 square foot facility that will allow them to have up to 10 simultaneous projects in campus studios. Well, happening now, thousands of competitors are on the course going through the grueling Spartan race. A Fort Carson training range has turned into a huge obstacle course this weekend. 28 challenges are set up over nearly 10-mile course, and it even goes up and down the ridges. Now, some race veterans might finish the course in under an hour, so we asked for some advice for first-time competitors.
You know, go as hard as you can, pace yourself because it's a 9-mile course today, but just have fun. Keep going. Every step forward will get you to the finish line.
9 miles, oh my gosh. Well, races will go on all day today. A shorter course is being set up for tomorrow, and there is even a course for kids. Holy cow, I can't even run 1 mile. Well, the Air Force Academy graduates won't hear from Vice President Mike Pence at this year's commencement, but they did get a chance this week to meet a former vice president. Dick Cheney was in town Thursday to speak to cadets attending an annual lecture. Now, this is a speech focused on the topic of national security. Cheney did urge the future Air Force officers to seek opportunities in national security, saying, quote, the U.S. needs top flight help. Well, Kanye West in some hot water over some controversial comments.
When you hear about slavery for 400 years, that sounds like a choice.
Well, now one lawmaker is offering Kanye a chance to learn about the slave trade. We'll explain coming up. Welcome back to Good Morning Colorado, guys. Taking a look right now from Cheyenne Mountain over Colorado Springs. Check this out, too. We can see kind of some of those clouds that Marty was talking about just a moment ago. We were really clear earlier this morning at about 6 a.m. with beautiful sunshine, which I'm sure is still going to grace us at some point today. But right now we are definitely looking at some of those clouds. It's still beautiful outside, though, so if you do want to get out, it might be nice with some of that cloud cover. Time now is 8:52. Well, actress Allison Mack could be facing more charges in a bizarre case involving an alleged sex cult. The former Smallville actress is accused of helping recruit women into a suspected sex cult called NXIVM. Prosecutors say the women were ultimately used as sex slaves. Mack and the suspected culprit, leader Keith Rainier, are facing federal sex trafficking charges. Both have pleaded not guilty. The trial for both Mack and Rainier is scheduled to start October 1st. Well, a Nigerian senator has invited rapper Kanye West to visit the former slave ports in Africa to learn about the slave trade. West is facing intense criticism for saying 400 years of slavery sounded like a choice to him. West tried to clarify his statements, tweeting, quote, of course I know that slaves did not get shackled and put on a boat by free will. My point is for us to have stayed in that position, even though the numbers were on our side, means that we were mentally enslaved. The senator took a dig at West on Friday, saying West's statements on transatlantic slavery trade was like defecating on the graves of its victims. The senator is now offering him a free ticket and tour guide of the old slaves' routes and camps in West Africa. We're turning back to some local news. They're big dogs with big hearts, but gentle ways. This week, owners of Great Pyrenees from across the country are hoping their dogs will get top marks at a dog show here in Colorado Springs. The Mile High Great Pyrenees Club is hosting the Best in Show event at the Hotel Elegante. It's a show that happens only once a year in different spots around the United States and draws a large crowd.
They drive, they fly. We have people that drove from Pennsylvania and New York. We have people that drove from Washington and Oregon and California.
There's even a dog here from Sweden. Oh my gosh, look at that face. Well, you can catch this show for yourself today at Hotel Elegante. Judging takes place all day. And if you didn't get enough furry friends just now, we have a kitty who I'm sure will keep you smiling. Here's Gretchen Presley with our Pet of the Week.
Good morning. I'm Gretchen Presley from the Humane Society of the Pikes Peak region, and this fuzzy little guy is Fuzzball. Fuzzball is a 9-year-old neutered black long-haired kitty. He came into HSPPR as a stray, and no owner ever came to claim him. But he has obviously lived with and loved people before because Fuzzball is very experienced at being a good pet. In fact, he was found because he tried to walk right into the home of the Good Samaritan who brought him in. He might need a minute to warm up to you, but once he knows you're his friend, he is very sweet and social. And he's a social eater, too. He likes getting attention and spending time with his people at meal times. Talk about a family dinner. If Fuzzball sounds like a good match for your family, come visit with him for yourself today. Fuzzball's adoption fee is $35, which includes a voucher for a veterinary exam, vaccinations, 30 days of pet health insurance, and a microchip. Visit our website at hsppr.org, like us on Facebook, or come by in person to 610 Abbott Lane starting at 11 a.m. to meet Fuzzball and all his furry friends in need of loving new homes. Are you and your pets ready if disaster strikes this summer? Natural disasters, including wildfires, can occur at any time, so make sure you have a plan to get you and your pets to safety. Visit hsppr.org/ready for more tips and information on how to be prepared.
Just about 8:58 now on this Saturday morning, which is a little bit gray now. At 6 o'clock, it was bright and sunny across the Pikes Peak region. We now have some thin clouds moving in, but they're thick enough to drown out the sun a bit. Up there in Woodland Park, well, generally in the 40s. At the moment, we'll be warming up into the 60s, though, before it's all said and done today. Couldn't rule out a sprinkle, but I don't think you'll have significant rainfall anywhere today. And really, probably not a lot of that throughout the rest of the week, though I do think we'll have a better chance for some spotty showers and thunderstorms tomorrow, maybe to a lesser extent on Monday, then again Friday. I think the bigger story here is we're kind of stabilizing with regard to temperature. We stay in the 60s during the day. Most nights will be a couple of degrees, either side of 40 degrees. Canyon City will be in the upper 70s right on through Monday. Again, couldn't rule out an isolated shower or a rumble of thunder tomorrow or Monday, but only at about a 10% coverage. Then we'll jump up into the 80s for the rest of the work week. Maybe wait until Friday before we get another chance for some rain. But on the whole, it looks like it'll be pretty dry around Canyon City as well as in Pueblo, where you can see some of those thin clouds approaching from the Pikes Peak region right now. We'll be in the 80s today, maybe just a touch cooler tomorrow into Monday. Again, couldn't rule out a shower, maybe a crack of thunder. All things considered, I don't think you should expect much rain over the next several days, just warm air. We'll be in the mid-80s Tuesday through Thursday with lows probably around 50. And in Colorado Springs, we'll end up in the 70s today and maybe just a touch cooler tomorrow. Monday, maybe 60s. We could start out with some low clouds or patchy fog Monday morning. So as that front comes in, that's why we have a slightly better chance for some spotty showers and thunderstorms. But then Tuesday through Thursday, for the most part, looks dry. A couple sprinkles over the mountains would be about it. And really, the pattern looks to kind of settle down here now. So we stay warm over the next couple of weeks with highs in the 70s to lower 80s most days. Still pretty cool at night with 40s. And we'll have occasional chances for spotty showers and thunderstorms during the afternoon and evening hours. So I'm not really seeing any strong organized systems, at least at the moment.
Okay, love the temps. Marty, thank you so much. Thanks so much for joining us. You guys have a good rest of your Saturday.